I like it.
I'll just tell you what, Samuel L. Jackson busted it up in Pulp Fiction. I don't know him from English Bob.
You want coffee?
Well, yeah, hell yeah.
And then you can wake up and come to the Walk With Me Brother podcast. True drug, okay?
Dude.
America's drug, sugar. Hear me out. You're on with me? They say the gateway drug.
You feed him.
Everything rolls downhill. If you start addicted to Skittles, it's game over. Let's not get carried away, because I went for a few years in the interim between retirement from fighting and this point here where I eroded my discipline, essentially. Because when you get in this lifestyle where everybody's telling you, oh, Mayhem, oh, you're so cool, oh, come hang out, free drink, free weed, you know what I mean? It's easy to like kind of lose yourself a bit. Well, I listened to that judge when he gave me that cold ass glance, just a glance before sending me away for a couple years. Just a glance, like I'm insignificant. The judge looked at me like, you're nothing. And then just signed a paper and then threw it off to the side. Everyone always like talk about it's like a movie where the music changes and just whatever. No, turning points happen a bunch of times. So once you collect, okay, the judge looked at you funny. Okay, you seen horrible stuff on the yard. Everyone crying face, your mama's sad. Okay, all those will build up into a snowball of, I gotta change. I gotta fix this. You're up on the damn Mount Olympus and then you just roll down into the damn Roman latrines. I'm gonna tell you what, man, you might pick up drinking too. Stay on it. That's the biggest thing. Your head is clear. There's gonna be this thing calling you back because it's comfortable. You break free of it. And you know what I mean? I went to the football game last night. I would usually get slam hammered at a football game. Probably fight all the dudes in the first rows. But went last night and had a blast. Didn't even inkle for a beer. Went over there, got myself a Diet Coke, and I acted drunker than anybody.
Today, I sit down with Jason Mayhem Miller, a name that once lit up the UFC, MTV, and headlines around the world. Known for his larger-than-life persona, Mayhem's story runs way more than the chaos. From early fame fighting to rebuilding his life through recovery and mentorship. This is a conversation about redemption, resilience, and the man behind the madness. We are here in Playa del Rey with Jason Mayhem Miller, talking about what happens when the fight moves from the cage to the mind. And what the real recovery looks like. So today, welcome, Jason.
This is what it looks like right here. The true drug, okay?
Candid.
America's drug, sugar. Hear me out. Oh wait, you're on with me? Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You understand, I get it. Most people, when I say that,
no one will.
Like, what in the hell are you talking about?
Mate.
No,
I get it.
Sugar, man. That's the gateway drug right there. And never mind about marijuana. They say the gateway drug is sugar. Get on that sugar,
you feed them.
Everything rolls downhill. If you start addicted to Skittles, it's game over.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Now, I'm fighting and combating that with, fake sugar in there, no sugar in there, and
so no sugar only?
Keep my mind pretty even because
devil, man. Sugar.
Very sensitive. Let's not get carried away, but definitely one of his acolytes.
Yeah, I agree. I never used to be, I never used to be a sweet tooth person until I moved to America. Never ever did any sweet until I moved to America.
It's not your fault, because the thing is, how are you supposed to fight back against a wave of propaganda, right? Constantly telling you, hey, eat this thing, eat that thing. It's just natural that if you heard about it 7 times, that on the 8th, you probably will try it out, you know what I mean? And every piece of our bread, I know it's kind of banal to talk about diet during something as heavy as a recovery show, but it really is like the trigger that will set you downhill on everything else. It's unnatural for a human being to have access to that much sugar, and it's in everything.
You know what's nuts is, we just got back from Australia. We did 2 weeks in Australia, and we ate well, right? We didn't eat, but I didn't get that bloated. I mean, my wife said the same thing. Didn't get the bloated feeling, didn't get the sicky feeling, didn't put on any weight.
It's because Australia has not figured out its final capitalistic form. Here in America we got put super processed everything so it's cheaper and stays for longer so you can keep it on the shelf for longer. It's just science. It's just economics. If you can keep that thing on shelf stable for a good long time, yeah, it will blow you up, but you won't notice that and you won't connect it to whatever the hell I'm eating. until you like go on a diet where it's 0 sugar and it's only vegetables and proteins and healthy fats and fibrous carbs, you know.
All right. So early years, you grew up, I know this because I've followed you for a while. Those who don't know you, you grew up in a military household. You've talked about your father quite a lot being a big part of your early years. So how did he shape your mindset?
My dad was a military man and eventually became a damn paratrooper as I was coming into my teens. And he was like the boss of the tow gun company. And it really bled over into my life because I didn't realize at the time, but when I was like 15, 16, 17, he was yelling at 17, 18-year-old, 18, 19-year-olds to like put their hazmat equipment on real fast so that they don't get sarin gassed by Saddam Hussein. That was his mentality, and that's what he had to like focus his time on. So he definitely gave me some type of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Urgency in my life where you have to do this now. Yeah. And I mean, look, your parents like are key to shaping you. And if I look back at those times, it's like you have that youthful hate for him, there's like an anger in your blood. But in retrospect, I see that he was doing all that sort of Boy Named Sue style, where he's like, he knew the world is tough and hey, yeah, you have some skill set that you gotta exploit to the best. And
is that always the path and the plan?
Yeah. Well, since I was a little kid, he had me like running drills and digging foxholes and running underneath barbed wire is sort of, I did one of my, we would run up to the top of the zip line stairs, and you put on you have a parachute harness and you jump on there and slide down. I just was training. I was training for a life, still just staying on Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I mean, doing that slide down the thing, I was probably 12. Yeah, so he was a paratrooper at that time, and we got to go to all the training camps, go watch him jump out of airplane. I remember one time, all them guys got blown off course real bad. You could tell everybody's parachute was like shooting that way. So, it was like a childhood full of like excitement, sort of like, your pops in some adrenaline type thing.
Would you just because I've watched a lot of like your talks and your early stuff, and one of the things that I kind of had like for you was all that kind of fighting that you did in the early days. Would you say that was your structure, or was that your rebellion against it?
Oh yeah, listen,
structure.
There's an interesting. I read books about this where they'll say the best soldiers will be fighters, not bullies, fighters. Kids that are like game, like you just go and want to rumble, you know what I mean? And I was geared that way. I didn't realize it till I was, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, maybe younger, 5. The kids that I was related to in Tennessee that I had never met, everybody was rumbling. It was like weird mentality to fight. And I think most American kids are like that in general, but there's like my family, every one of them. So it was like a constant. And then, I moved away from that, played hockey a bit and did this and that, but everybody's wrestling and boxing and everybody's like combat sports sort of guy. And I kind of just naturally gravitated. So here's a funny one that I just thought of. I had a sparring partner, for lack of a better word, in the 5th grade, little black kid named Mansour. I sparred this kid I fought him at lunch every day. Me and him, you just flash every day. And then, it's like, that's just a pattern we got into. And then we're sitting there in the vice principal's office daily, and them talking to us, not throwing us out of school back then because it wasn't like that. I was like, oh, they're just fighting it.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't see that kid, until middle school, where his big brother socked me in the head. He socked me in the head good, and I was pretty mad about that. But I didn't see him again until 12th grade. I had moved away from that school. I'm on the mat getting ready for my match in the wrestling. I heard Mansoor's name come over the loudspeaker, and I said, no way. And I walked to his mat and saw him, and he saw me, and we both gave each other like the, and he said, oh, you got bigger. And I was like, you stayed the same. So I zinged him with that one at the last second, but because we were in different weight classes at that time. But yeah, you know, it's the nature nurture question gets hit in there all the time, because, you know, what would I have done without the sport of mixed martial arts? You know, it's the big question, you know, and maybe I would have found my way to the military eventually, but, you know, I kind of was joined my own army, you know.
You know, because you seem like even through like when I used to see you on MTV, like from the offset, like pretty crazy and wild, but you've always had discipline. You've always had discipline, even today.
Let's not get carried away, because I went for a few years in the interim between retirement from fighting and at this point here where I eroded my discipline essentially, because when you get in this lifestyle where everybody's telling you, oh, Mayhem, oh, you're so cool, come hang out, free drinks, here, free weed, here, like, you know what I mean? It's easy to like kind of lose yourself a bit. And I'll admit that there was a time in my life where discipline was not high on the list of priorities. And that, you know, that's like the classical Hollywood story, right? Where the guy kind of loses himself to women, whatever. So I will say that, yeah, discipline has always been a big part of my life when I'm running on the path to success. But a lack of discipline makes you fall off into oblivion.
Exactly,
Yeah.
What's that discipline taught you? Because you know, it's not been easy for you with your pain along the way. So even if you look at today, the discipline of today, because you're on your own different road, completely different road now. So what's that taught you about today?
Well, obviously, you just saw me eat a sugar-free yogurt. I mean, not the most tasty thing in the world, but I'm doing that because a little bit of suffering makes it so that I can live my best life. You know, I feel really great and my body feels really clean with no sugar in it. So that's how I live, you know, nature nurture. They put the details in your, micromanage every little piece of your life, and suddenly, you know, you have a super control, you know, and it feels like you're creating what you want to create instead of what's just marketed at you.
So coming from Manchester, England, Manchester, closest near.
Pretty good football club, no?
We were. Well, there's another good one now.
All right, let's not get into that, okay?
So for mixed martial arts, for me, obviously, Michael Bisping.
Oh, Bigsby.
So,
hey, let me tell you, man, Michael Bisping, we didn't know that he's one of the greatest fighters of all time.
Would you just, I don't want to go too much into your MMA, because you've done a lot of talks about it. There's a lot of YouTubers about it. But I mean, would you say, I mean, that the Mayhem, you know, everyone knew you as Mayhem Miller, right?
Yeah.
I
Hey,
didn't.
listen here, my mama called me Mayhem.
I don't think I even knew your first name was Jason until like research.
People will ask me if I'm Mike Mayhem or Mayhem Mike, or, you know, people that, hey, that Mayhem stuck with them. Yeah.
So would you say that the Mayhem took over the Jason then?
You know, yeah, in a way, but Mayhem has always been like fun having. You know what I mean? Good spirited. You know, right. Mayhem has always been. But the thing is that, you know, darkness could take over any character. Like if you start to feed that darkness, like it will show through. The same way as whatever you eat comes out through your skin. The damn whatever you imbibe, whatever you take in will warp your character in whatever way. That's why, you know, good workouts, constant, good frame, you know, good.
When would you say that happened? When did the Mayhem? What was the period there? Take over the jokes?
Oh no, like I said, man, if you live a lifetime, okay, most kids follow this pattern, right? Go through high school, have a few parties, whatever. Get used to drinking and go to college, and then you guys have a kegger and you figure out like, oh man, I drank too much this semester and now look at me, I failed out. you take my life, okay, at 18, I was training for fights. Didn't go to parties. 19, 20, 21, those years of college, party. Dude, I was just training camp and fighting people and training camp and fighting people. And then an occasional blowout party and where I messed up because I wasn't used to these type of substances. You know, I didn't know what this was. And back to training camp. And training camp is such a disciplined life. Now you get injured, UFC don't pay for that. They're like, whatever, you're on your own with that knee. It does pre-existing condition. Okay, fine. Now you're like in a pit of despair and pain and you don't know what to do. There's a reason that there's like a trope of professional athlete crashing out because it's really easy to do. You're up on the damn Mount Olympus and then you just roll down into the damn Roman latrines. I'm gonna tell you what, man, you might pick up drinking too.
So, I mean, because you were, for back then, even back then, like you were in like the MySpace world. You were always kind of like you were way ahead. Way ahead of.
I tell everybody, and they don't believe me. I'm from the future.
But one thing about you, I know, I mean, you brought it to every single fight. You promised that, I think, from your start, and you talked about that in a lot of your content during those years. You brought it to you.
What did I say?
You brought a show.
Oh. Yeah, my main concern was not winning or losing. Ironically, when I was relaxed and lived by that philosophy, I won all my fights because I was like, who cares? I just go, balls to the ball, just full out and pull out some crazy victory. It's only when you get worried about a fight too safe that you don't have your best performance. You're like locked up. That's why I coach my guys. Now I got 5 professional fighters that I'm looking after. Then I go, okay, do this, do that, do the other. Hey, I made that mistake before. Don't do that.
And they listen to you?
No, bro. Let me tell you, man. You heard about they say herding cats?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, herding tigers. MMA fighters are damn jungle tigers, bro. It's not like zoo tigers like old Joe Exotic had. Like these are vicious maniacs with long claws, and you got to convince them to do something that's good for them already. And it's tough. It's tough. Every fighter is different, so I'm not going to generalize, but fighters in general are stubborn sons of bitches.
That's why we love them, right? But at the height of your fame, I mean, the height of the height.
Oh man, you ain't even seen it yet, there, Rob.
Okay, so we saw it from the content you built, from everything from MTV, all the TV, so what was happening behind, what was happening behind the curtains there? What was happening in your head when all that was going on? How did you handle it?
Listen, not much. I was young and like wild. Like things were constantly changing, and I didn't have much life experience, to be honest. And that's from, like I said, I had young parents, super young parents that they were growing up with me. And that is kind of a handicap because they don't have a lot of life experience. So it's not a lot to roll down on you, right? First of all. And I didn't take the normal route. So I didn't know how the rest of humanity lived. Like, I didn't know that, most people don't just wake up and go to the gym all day. It's like, I don't understand this world of paperwork and words and meetings and action item lists and, you know what I mean? Like water coolers, it's like, I didn't have any frame of reference to talk to anybody in business for a long time until I got that experience, and now I know how to talk to humans in a human language. The gym language is screaming and yelling and push another rep and do another technique, and it's much different. And so the inverse is true. I'm a guy who has a very particular set of skills, and we have a niche industry that there's only a few of us, I mean, we're like the top 250 of our business. And, beyond that, it take a long 10,000 hours to get smart enough at fighting to teach it to the younger guys.
I'm the expert.
At a high level. Anybody can open up a dojo, but, the top level fighters are going to know where the top level instruction is. So I'm proud to be part of that.
Just thinking of like your fighting days. Like, what was if you have to pick like one memorable fight and you've fought so many?
Tim Kennedy the second fucking time. God damn. I was tired of beating his ass. Like I was mad. I was mad that he didn't give up. You know what I mean? I was like, he was so tough. So, I just kept beating on him, but I couldn't like get him out, nothing. That was a memory. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Because that was a tough one. Because afterward, I was tired as hell there. It was hard to get me tired back then. I was like, oh my God. All right, fine. No.
What's something that you've learned about your mental health that you wish more fighters probably understand? If you had to kind of coach your 5 guys now about mental health, what was it you kind of, I know you say about...
No, the big thing is not being too manly to ask for help. That was like the hardest one to get over. Like the hardest one to get over for me was this sort of, I could do it. I could do it on my own. I could take care of myself. I could do it on my own because eventually you're all alone.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the big one. That's the big one.
So how do you approach that today with your fighters?
Listen, any kid watching this that bumps into it, or somebody who's like, somebody who's watching this is probably already on the path to recovery. And that's like sort of the biggest step to make is like, okay, like let me look into how to correct what's going on. And if you're like too full of yourself to like think that you don't need any help and you could just figure it out on the internet.
Okay, so what would Jason say to Mayhem back in 2000? Let's go back in the time trail. Jason's going to speak to Mayhem. What would you say to him?
Oh man, your pain management got to be done by a professional. You got to like have some kind of thing because you can't throw down a damn fit the vodka on that knee. It's not gonna. It's not gonna give good outcomes because eventually you're just gonna be used to this vodka and you're just gonna roll around like a little bit unhinged and scare everybody and get busted, go to jail. That's the thing is that I convinced myself that I could do some natural painkiller, you know what I mean, by Anheuser-Busch, and it didn't work out at all. But here's the thing is that my dad was around to tell me that, and he did. But once you're deep in it, you cannot get out. You cannot just like walk it off. It's like you have to go break your habits for 30, 60, 90 days and go in there and come out with a clear head and new habits. Dopamine reset, I guess they'll call it, where you just get back down to a baseline of just normal human neurochemicals instead of like enhanced ones, I know all that logic talk wouldn't get through to old Psycho Mayhem back in the day, but new updated Mayhem is like, oh yeah, makes perfect sense.
Do you think that was the only then path that you were gonna, like, you wouldn't have listened to anybody? That was it. That was the way you were gonna eventually. That was the direction.
Well, I listened to that judge when he gave me that cold ass glance, just a glance before sending me away for a couple years. Just a glance, like I'm insignificant. Like I'm insignificant, The judge looked at me like, you're nothing. And then just signed a paper and then threw it off to the side. Yeah, that was that, you know what I mean? That was a statement of, hey, you need to figure it out. You need to figure it out right now, or this is the rest of your life. You're gonna be stuck in these boxes.
So was that your turning point?
Listen, there were so many turning points. Everyone always like talk about it's like a movie where the music changes and just whatever. No, turning points happen a bunch of times. So once you collect, okay, the judge looked at you funny. Okay, you seen horrible stuff on the yard. Okay, you seen everyone crying face, your mama's sad. Okay, all those will build up into a snowball of, I gotta change. I gotta fix this. So that's what I did. Eventually, I got so many of those stories, the whole, what do they call it? Oh, rock bottom, they say.
Yep.
Oh man, buddy, I'm fucking tough and stubborn and can take a lot of damage. So there's a lot of rolling downhill before any kind of climbing back up. And then, eventually you will. But my advice is to not be too stubborn before you get to that point.
You've been, so I've been sober since January the 1st this year. You've been sober For how long?
Been like, what? It's coming on 3 years now. Yeah.
So the sobriety with everything, was that part of the turning point as well with you? Like the sobriety, was that kind of like the first thing you had to kind of crack, or?
Hell yeah. You know, because you look at my life right now, it's amazing in this short amount of time to like rocket back upwards the way I have. And I owe that all to the fans because, you know, if you see a little bit of my journey and yours, you know, well, God bless you. You know, I appreciate you. But the first piece of the puzzle was to give it up, like give up whatever substance is wrecking your life. And, that is not easy. And like I said, it really takes you getting out of the environment that you're normally in to break your habits. And then when you go back to that environment, if you have to, like to look at it in a different frame, like look at it like these are the habits that I'm going to be into, because it's all habit. It's all habit. Everyone's like pretending there's some kind of magical, you know, cure or something. Everyone's selling like a, I don't know, seminar or something. And I get it. It's smart to do things like that. It's smart to encourage people to get in certain habits, but really the individual has to do the hard work. Yep. They have to do they have to break their, you know, it's like cigarettes, right? Cigarette, easy to pick up, easy to smoke, easy, and impossible. The Zins, oh my God, impossible. But I was over on the Zins because I used to shoot tobacco. Weight cutting, wrestling kind of thing. You put the thing and you don't feel hungry and whatever. So, and then I had those Zins that, oh my God, those things are hardcore. And look, there's a lot of sponsors that I'm going to lose right now, but it's just super hard to like get off of those things. Now, what is not hard is for me, same thing with alcohol, drugs, whatever, is I put them in an adversarial relationship with my mind where I was angry that I have to go to 7-Eleven and get this thing, all that, put the cash in my wallet so I'm not beeping nothing, okay? And I look at the thing, I look at the cash disappearing. I'm angry. Now I'm angry about it. So for me, you know, that anger motivation is what I think it gets me going to fight back against it. Now, did I suffer for weeks? Yes. Like that is hardcore. Like that nicotine running out of your body is so hard, bro. It's like you're scratching and itching. Like, yeah, it's tough. So it was easier to fight it for me to kind of be adversarial with it. Not like, I'm going to take you back. No, I'm angry at you. You're like ruining my life. I cannot sleep. It's like having a bad girlfriend, like a toxic relationship. Yeah, you just have to not call her for enough nights and handle your own business for enough nights that you can break free.
So you talk about the 3-year trajectory and, you know, things going up. Over the course of the last couple of years, emerging vets and players have come into your life.
Yeah. No, these guys, you know.
They find you.
Yep. They did. Someone in an MVP chapter way out in Kansas, fan, followed my career, long time, followed my ups and downs, ups again. He invited me to a Zoom class. Now, at the time, I was like living in a halfway house. Like, I did not want to be on a Zoom with all these weird guys around me. You know, it's like embarrassing a bit. You know, I was like, God, this is a big fall. Like, these guys are going to see Mayhem Miller at the bottom of the thing, and then I'm in the hood, you know? And I was kind of ashamed. But I said, man, I'll go to the place. I don't want to be on Zoom. And he's like, yeah, there's one right there in Hollywood. And it was at our Breakable Gym, which when I was away, I would see Wiz Khalifa training in there and the thing. And I was always like, oh, I could go there. I'm an MMA expert. They would love to have me in there. I could teach them all some Muay Thai and some Jiu-Jitsu and some wrestling. I was like dreaming about it, you know, but the irony is flip backward, man. These guys taught me how to like settle back into society, how to be a human again, how to chat with everybody, you know, outside of this institutional living that I did because, you know, I messed up so bad. So yeah, MVP like helped me turn the corner. You know, they got me like situated in the thing, and I still give back to the guys. I don't go to them nearly as much as I should. You know, I got to give back to them, and I'm planning on doing some really big things with MVP. But man, these guys were instrumental. You know, like I said, I'm taking credit for all this. I am, because I had to take ownership of all the terrible, bad stuff I did. You know, and I do. I'm ashamed of that, but I've pushed it back. I feel no guilt because I've moved forward, up and out of that darkness. So MVP, yes, they do get a big chunk of credit, because just having somewhere to be every Wednesday night changed my life. Because there's not, you know what I mean? You can't really mess up on Saturday night if Wednesday that you're gonna have to look your boys in the face.
They are.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look your boys in the face and say, hey man, I did good this weekend. I just hung out, watched the fights.
So for those people who are probably watching who don't know what MVP,
Emerging veterans and pros, or I always say pros, but it's players. Emerging veterans and players and stuff. Football players, start by Jay Glazer, I guess. Like I haven't run into him yet at one of the events, but Randy Couture. It's got a lot of heavy hitters in the, what's the word for it? The boardroom, you know? These guys have done a lot. They're veterans who are trying to help pull guys up out of that darkness. And then professional athletes who have a similar struggle coming out, going back into society. Like I said, the fight room is not indicative of the rest of society. And, you know, I barely know how to do a W-2.
But what's the biggest thing that community has given you that fame never did?
Well, no, it like fosters like some camaraderie where you have like a similar set of trouble. You know, everybody has like kind of you've been through hard experiences, and it's hard not to fall off the cliff, you know? What it did, you know, like I said before, what it did was get me used to like talking to humans, talking to people, chatting, and re-enter society, you know, like where before I was like living in the complete darkness and just kind of wandering around, not knowing what's what. And these guys let me know, okay, here's how you have a conversation with people. Here's how you, kind of be vulnerable and give like a true story of what's happening, so that you can bounce it off this guy to get like feedback in a way like you might not have thought of, you know. And then I'm so good at running my mouth too that after about 6 months, 7 months, I was like, hey, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? You know, and then so I was not only was I getting so much help, I suddenly was helping everyone else too. So, you know, because everybody's an expert at something, and if you get enough guys in a room, everybody has been through that experience and can kind of guide you through that experience instead of you just wandering around in the dark.
Is MVP, is that somewhere you have to be invited in, or like?
No, I believe that, I mean, it kind of helps to get invited in.
So they have
because here's the thing is that who knows really, if this guy didn't hit me up on Instagram from Kansas, you know, how would I have run in? How would I have found that? How would I have wandered in there? You know, and again, it goes back to that stubborn tough guy routine that we all do, where it's like, I don't really need any help. But I mean, the moment that thing came in, that message came in, I said, oh yeah, I mean, dude, I don't have anywhere to go or anything to do yet. Like, I might as well go. And it's at that gym that I saw on TV. Oh, that's wild. So yeah, you know, it was like a life-changing opportunity that I might have missed had I not checked my messages.
True. So fast forward to, you know, everything what you're doing today. I mean, you seem like, for me, grounded. I think that's probably the word. How are you managing with all that noise in the background? How do you manage to stay grounded today?
Well, I mean, it's sort of an easier set of problems, right? I don't have like the static of so much substance rattling around in my brain to like distract me and confuse me. So it's kind of easier to take on all the challenges. And the minute I stopped for so long accepting responsibility, you know, I just had like the little small ones. And the minute that I started, okay, I'll take on more responsibility and then taking on more, my life has suddenly become way more fulfilling because I have as much problems as I have as much problems as I had when I was drinking and cavorting and getting in a lot of trouble and doing things kind of under the table from Uncle Sam. Now I have more problems, but I can manage them and I enjoy them. And these problems bring joy to other people, the fighters, the fans. Like it's something that, yeah, do I have a lot of stress? Hell yeah, but am I ready to accept it? Hell yeah, I am.
So you've got a lot going on right now. So to talk me through like what does the future look like?
I don't know, bud. The future,
You got a lot going on.
I'm good at predicting the future, but I don't like to do it too often, you know. I'm just nose to the grindstone working. You know, I work with the Adam Carolla show where I do the news, I give like the hot takes, and you know, it's just get it done.
It in itself is huge. I mean,
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, top 10 podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like it's a big honor. And this man is one of those guys who has been right a lot. So, you know, people are finally settling back down to listen to him since he's been right so much. They're like, oh, okay. Now, with that, that's a big honor. I do my own show now. So that's another big bunch of responsibility and stress, and you know, I'm like, like
I'll get you out of this.
Yeah, no, it's all right. You know, it's on the time watch all the time, and I'm like trying to adhere the best I can to a schedule. As back when I was a fighter, buddy, I'm showing up when I feel like I show up. Hey, I got it from Minotauro Noguera. He told me this. I said, "Why are you always late to practice, Minotauro?" He said, "Because the wedding, it don't start without the bride." I was like, yo, you're awesome. But now, you know, nowadays, I'm like not into that. Like now I'm like, all right, I'm trying to be on time, professional, and make it happen.
I appreciate you coming down. I know you're a busy guy. But your strength today compared to when you were fighting, would you say it's the same thing or it's completely different?
Oh, completely different. What do you mean? Look, when I was younger, Fight Day Mayhem was like a very strong monster of a man, right? But kind of simple, gotta be honest, like singularly focused. And now Wise Mayhem is now strong at building relationships, being on time, being focused, and part of a team. That's the biggest thing, because a fighter is a lone, solitary existence. Yeah, you have training partners. Yeah, you know, you have a manager, you have coaches, but you're by yourself. Like nobody's coming into the cage with you. No one's going in that ring with you. So you're on your own, and it all comes down to you. Now, I'm all about fostering community. I'm all about like building us all up as a team. I'm all about like making the new world by interconnectedness. No alpha, I'm straight sigma.
So if someone's watching this video and they're listening, and they're a little bit lost, or they're in the process of rebuilding, you know, as both of us have gone through.
Stay on it. That's the biggest thing, is that if you put together some clean time and your head is clear, there's gonna be this thing calling you back because it's comfortable. Not even that it's good for you or it's gonna feel great. It's just you're in the habit. You're used to the habit. And you gotta take a long time, 90 days at least, to break out of that habit, that cycle of habit. because your natural state, you'll go right back to it. There's a guy who lost a piece of his brain, couldn't even remember anything, but if you put him out his front door, he would make that same walk around his block just like he always did, because most of our consciousness is in the running in the background. This guy couldn't remember what day of the week it was, but he could walk around the block perfectly because it's a habit. It's a habit. So if you break up out of a habit, I'm telling you, it'd take a year or two really to really break free, where you're don't even care. And I see some of my friends who quit the party lifestyle, and I see them. They've been sober for a while, but that habit still is clawing at them. It breaks free. You break free of it. And you know what I mean? I went to the football game last night. I would usually get slam hammered at a football game. Probably fight all the dudes in the first rows, okay? But, went last night and had a blast. Didn't even inkle for a beer. Went over there, got myself a Diet Coke, and I acted drunker than anybody. It's a license. When everyone else is drunk, you can just act as crazy as you want. Yeah. And it really, man, it's another level of fun. It's another, yeah. And then you can wake up and come to the Walk With Me Brother podcast.
But man, your story reminds us really is about strength never failing. I mean, you've stood up and stood up. No, come on. You've stood up and you've fought a massive battle, and you look where you are now. So I mean, it's a testament.
Listen, man, everything is going man, it's going good.
Anyone looking for inspiration, we're going to put all your links below so that.
Oh, God bless you, man. Thank you very much.
You're a very inspirational dude, man. I'm honored to kind of sit with you today and just shoot the shit with you. But I appreciate you coming on.
Likewise, brother.
I know you're a busy guy, but thank you.
Bless you, man. I appreciate you, man.
If you've enjoyed this episode today and any of our episodes on Walk With Me Brother, follow us along, subscribe. It helps our channel grow, helps us reach more people. Thank you for your support and continue watching.